call to order the regular meeting of the Batavia Park Board of Commissioners for January 17th at 7 o'clock. Please call the roll.
Riley?
Here.
Connolly? Here. Tillman?
Here.
Gray? Here. Callahan?
Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first item on our agenda is our public hearing for our budget and appropriations ordinance. So I would open the public hearing at 7:01. Is there anyone this evening who wishes to address the board on the public hearing for our budget and appropriations ordinance? Don't have to rush.
Right? Please, single file, so for safety.
They're scouting all of us.
Right. Okay, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Tillman, second by Gray. Would you please call the roll?
Tillman?
Aye.
Gray? Aye. Riley?
Aye.
Connolly? Aye. Callahan?
Aye, motion carries at 7:01. Any items to be added, removed, or changed on our regular agenda?
There are not.
There are none. Moving on. First order of business is our consent agenda, so I would entertain a motion to establish the consent agenda as follows. Approve of the meeting minutes of the regular board meeting of December 20th. Approve of the meeting minutes of the executive session of December 20th. Approval of the paid expenditures. Approval of the expense summary. Expense approval report. Approval of the investment summary. Approval of the income statement, and approval of purchases.
So moved.
Motion by Tillman.
Second.
Second by Gray. Any further discussion? Lindsay, please call the roll.
Tillman?
Aye.
Gray? Aye. Riley?
Aye.
Connolly? Aye. Callahan?
Aye, motion carries. Next order of business would be to approve the consent agenda as established. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Tillman, second by Gray. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is guests, matters from the public. Anyone wishing to address or have any comments to share with the board this evening?
Now, can the same people that just talked before talk now?
They might say the same thing.
Good, right? That's what I'm afraid of.
Very good. Next item on the agenda is matters from the commissioners. Anyone wishing to make any comments this evening?
It's good.
Okay. Moving right along. Next item on the agenda is item number 9, presentation. So our first presentation is our West Main Community Park tree installation Eagle Scout presentation by Thomas Kerfoot. Awesome. Welcome, Thomas. Thanks for coming.
All right, so a little bit about what this is we did a project over at West Main Community Park here in Batavia where we planted trees for a couple different reasons, all just to help out the community. So basically, if you don't know what an Eagle Scout project is, it's a project that is just meant to help the community in any way. In this case, we chose planting trees at West Main Community Park. It all started back in September of 2021. We met with Batavia Park District Superintendent of Parks, Mr. Alex Macias, and Troop 6 Scoutmaster, Mrs. Zimbaroff. He originally arranged this for a project for his son Nolan, but he ended up taking a different one, so I got this one, and I'm thankful of that. That was in winter of 2022 when Mrs. Zimbaroff's son gained approval of the other project, leaving me with this one. In May of 2022, We communicated via email with Mr. Macias, confirming everything, getting everything set up. And later in June of that year, we got some satellite images of, just to get a map of the area where we were gonna plant trees, what trees we needed to plant, and how it would all turn out. Later in July, we received approval from Mr. Macias, Mrs. Zimberoff, our troop committee and council rep, allowing me to proceed with the project. Later in August, we started planning out how we were gonna carry this out. In September of that year, we finalized the date to October 22nd, 2022. It was a Saturday with Mr. Macias. We received a quote from Cackney's, they're a landscaping company. They're a tree nursery, that's where we got the trees, for 9 trees, and we began raising funds. In October of 2022, we recruited help from my Boy Scout Troop 6. We contacted Julie for a locate request to make sure we weren't digging up any power lines, anything like that, and nobody wants that. On Friday, October 21st, the day before the project, my dad met Mr. Macias and other Batavia Park District employees at West Main, so they could place the trees right by where we were going to dig them, so that it could all be ready for the next day. And then the next day rolled by, Saturday, October 22nd, 2022, with help from scouts, leaders, parents of Troop 6, and many others. We dug into the ground, put the trees in, and I mean, what can I say, that was it. Some of the reasons we planted the trees we did, this was over by the batting cages by West Main. As you can see, it's very wet. This was after a rainy day. There's a lot of standing water, and it's hard for people to access those batting cages. We chose a couple of trees that were really good at soaking up water, and that's why we placed them over there. Over by the numbers 1, 2, and 3, located on this satellite image. We planted a swamp white oak and 2 bald cypresses, or that was the original plan, for a swamp white oak and 2 bald cypresses, because, like, again, they're just very good at soaking up that water, so it can be very dry when people go to the batting cages. And this was selecting locations. The other 6 numbers on here, we planted those trees simply because they are fast growers and they will provide shade, because during the summer, during baseball games, there's not a lot of shade over there, and nobody likes to sit out in the hot blistering sun all day. So, and they are fast growers, so they will get as much shade as possible, as fast as possible. Planted those over there to provide shade, and the other 3 to soak up water. This was our finalization of the tree order by Cackney's. It was this one. We bought 9 trees from the Cackney's nursery. It came out to a little over $2,000, but thanks to all our fundraising, we were able to afford it. This was the day before the project, the tree placements. My dad and the people at Batavia Park District did a great job. They placed them right where we needed to get them, so we didn't have to get a truck over there the day of the project. We just had to roll them a few feet to get them where they needed to be. And this is the day of the project. Many people showed up. We didn't have any problems at all. We dug into the ground, didn't hit anything too terrible. No, we hit a few rocks, but we managed. Planting the trees, everyone helped out. A lot of people there, a lot of adults there. And this was around 1 or 2 p.m. That was way before I thought we would finish, but it was a great success. We got all the trees planted. Nobody got hurt, thankfully. And yeah, these are just some more pictures. These are the ones over by the baseball field, the ones to provide shade, and these ones in that top image over there, those are the ones by the batting cages to soak up all that water. And again, more pictures of success. And I just want to say thank you to Batavia Park District for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Macias, for your help and support. I don't think he's here right now, but he worked out all the details with me. Peyton and Ryan from Batavia Park District, they brought tools and provided extra help with the project. Mr. Zimbrov for letting me know about this opportunity and letting me take it. And my parents for all their encouragement, help, and support. Mom, thank you for making sure everyone signed in. Dad, thank you for he's the tree expert. He knows everything about trees, and your advice with Julie. And here is just a big thank you to everyone who donated on the GoFundMe or in person. Everything helps. I think there's a couple pages up here. A lot of people donated, and I'm very thankful for that. So yeah, thank you. Any questions?
Questions? I don't know if we have questions, do you have any comments, but yeah.
I have a question, yeah. I mean, there's a ton of planning that goes into that. What was the hardest part for you?
The hardest part was probably just finalizing the date. Like organizing the timeline when this would have been done by.
Everything come together.
Yeah.
Good job. I mean, that's a ton of work. And all the different pieces. I thought you might say lifting the trees, but that's easy.
It was the other rule.
That's fine. That's fine. Good job. And I'm thankful because my son's a baseball player, so we're gonna love those trees.
Well, we actually love it when Eagle Scouts do their projects in our parks,
Yeah.
and this certainly is a extraordinary. I mean, you said it's kind of like, well, you know, it's planting some trees, but you know, planting some trees is pretty important from the park district perspective, but also from the perspective of sustainability. Having a firm that does a lot of volunteerism, we've planted quite a few trees as a group, and it's hard work. So thank you for that. Cackney's is a great nursery. They think they did a great job. That's a pretty reasonable cost.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
it was. I was thought it was gonna be a lot more than that.
Pretty
That
reasonable
is,
cost, so.
yeah.
But you did all the fundraising, so thank you very much. Board, any other comments?
I do want to make a mention, Alex Macias would be here tonight, but his wife is very pregnant and due any day. So he would be here otherwise, but he also sends his support and thinks you did a great job.
Well, we thank you, the troop, and all of the efforts of all the Eagle Scouts doing all their projects in our community, so thank you very, very much.
Nice job.
And a little known fact that his dad is actually the operations and safety manager for the Geneva Park District.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay.
Come on, kids.
See how it all comes together? Yeah. See how it all comes
Yeah.
together?
It's some inside out, okay?
Yeah.
So I will give you a bit of advice. If you want to leave, feel free to do so. If you want to stay for the rest of the meeting and understand what we're doing locally, you're more than welcome, but we will not take any offense at all if you decide. Thank you very, very much for coming.
And thank you for your community service all over.
Thank you.
And you can watch us on Batavia Access Television.
Yeah, it was a great presentation, too.
Yeah, really nice
Whole
job.
presentation together. Right, no, he had a whole thing back.
We need a thing when we go back and
To see, yeah.
Howard, you look
I would like to see how
lonely.
with those trees and see how, what effect that had.
Oh, I thought he was like the head scout guy.
No, no, no.
Different resources. A whole different presentation.
Yeah, it'll be different.
Me too.
Just to measure it.
All right.
We have Howard Killian from ERA to present his final asphalt assessment report.
Thank you for having us here tonight. My name is Howard Killian. My official title is the Municipal Services Director. fancy title. Basically, I'm a project manager with Engineering Resource Associates in Warrenville. A little bit of my background so you get an idea where I'm coming from. I spent 35 years as a public works director in the area, so very familiar with what needs to be done to the asphalt pavements and all these different things you have out here. So anyway, we were retained to review the condition of all your asphalt surfaces, your parking lots, your trails, the tennis courts, and then the basketball courts at 33 locations throughout your area. So what we did is we had some of our design engineers, myself, and some of our actual construction engineers visit each site. We had aerial photography, walk each site, and kind of get a general idea of what the parking lots, what the bike paths, the condition of everything. You know, do they, in their opinions, are they good condition? Are they fair condition? Hey, this one really needs to be reconstructed. We kind of evaluated throughout every facility where things needed to be. And what we did is, some of the recommendations we were looking for is what needs to be done at all these facilities. So it goes from anywhere from seal coating or surface treatments on your newer, better conditioned asphalts, crack sealing, again, to keep the water out of the base, because that's really what causes ultimately your pavements and your asphalts to fail. Spot patching, you know, you might have a parking lot that's really good and you've got a 10 by 10 area that's sinking or failing, you know, that needs to be patched before you do the rest of it. And then once you get to the areas that are a little bit not fair condition or getting to bad condition, you need to start looking at resurfacing those lots or those paths, or actually getting to reconstruction depending on how bad they are and what their uses are. So for the parking lots, we reviewed 13 locations with parking lots. Most, and again, you know, to your maintenance staff and your staff itself, most of them are in good condition. Over half are really in a good condition. There's a few, though, that do need to be considered in the next couple of years or down the road for reconstruction and or resurfacing, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But what we look at is, it's important right now, and we all know how budgets are and what spending is going, is it's really important, in our opinion, as the engineers, to spend your money up front right now on your parking lots and paths that are in good condition. Keep them in a good condition. Your ones that are starting to fail, they're already failing. They're not going to get that much worse, but you want to keep your ones that are in really good condition, to fair condition, in a good state to extend their life out even farther. One of the topics we've looked at, and we'll get into, is there's a newer product, and we've shared it. It's actually an asphalt rejuvenator. So everybody knows what seal coating is. It's basically the same thing you put in your driveways. A rejuvenator, actually you put down in your first year or two of a brand new surface going down, which I believe you had one park where it's a fairly new lot, which excellent condition, of course. And what it does, it really rejuvenates all the materials in a good condition. It's been around for a couple of years. I used to be skeptical of it until I started using it, and it's a fantastic product. There's some local companies that do apply it. And recently, there's one company bought equipment to actually be able to apply it to bike paths itself, a much smaller truck to go through. And we shared some of the information with staff on those local firms. So again, the parking lot's really good condition. There are a few that need to be you know, looked at a little bit farther down the road. Before they crack seal, we recommend you, before you seal coat, we recommend you crack seal those. Again, the whole purpose of seal coating and crack sealing, keep the water from getting into the base, which is ultimately what causes the pavements to fail. So then we took a look at the walking paths at the same time. So 27 of your parks or your facilities have paths that are asphalt. You do have more parks that have concrete paths. We did not take a look at those. The paths themselves are mostly in excellent to good condition. That's mostly because you don't have a lot of vehicles driving on. You know, it's a different, almost the same pavement composition, but you don't have the heavy traffic hitting it all the time, the turning movements. So again, we're recommending for that to go ahead and use surface treatments and patch and crack seal as necessary. There is one, I believe it was along, I forgot the east or west side of the river. Probably the next couple of years, there's a section of it that could use a resurfacing. There was one section that is a little bit worse than the others. Tennis courts. So your 4 locations that have tennis courts, a lot of them, and no anything against staff, some of them we went in the fall and looked at these, need a good cleaning. You know, there were a lot of leaves and debris and mud and stuff that had gathered up on them late in the season. some of them need a good cleaning. Some of them, we are starting to see some cracks form, both around the posts that hold up the nets. Again, those need to be taken care of. There's a few that we're actually starting to open up some rather large cracks. Probably a base failure going on, or just, from what was originally installed. Those, until you can find the dollars to actually resurface or reconstruct those, some of those we'd recommend that you get in there with an actual patching material or latex. One, make it more level, but also so you don't have a trip hazard out there for anybody playing in that. And then the basketball courts, we looked at the 8 locations where we have basketball courts. Those are a little bit rougher condition. Most are in fair to good condition. One of your parks, it appeared, was actually old tennis courts that were turned into basketball courts. So you still had some of the lines and cracks and fencing that was more conducive to a tennis court. So that needs to be looked at. Again, most of them crack filling, some of them are going to need down the road to just have a new surface put on them. Seal coated, new surface, new paint put on those. So for the timing of all this, we prepared a basic concept plan for staff to look at. We already know that you're in this year's budget, so staff will need to work in this year's budget, and I think on the parking lots what we looked at was spend that money, do some seal coating, as many lots as you can get done, and then take a look at early in this year, start planning out your 4 or 5 years down the road, because you want to kind of set, so one, as a commissioner, you're not surprised when Kim and them come forward and say, hey, we need $8 million next year. That they have this planned out. It would be a surprise, right? Yeah.
Say that after we eat, please.
Yeah. So, but it gives you an idea of going out at least 5 years and even longer of where your lots need to be. And again, we understand, budgeting is limited, funds are limited, but also the parks represent a little bit different way of looking at when you want to work on a particular project. One, it's not like a street, the city goes in, does a street, walks away. You have the parking lots. Well, if you're going to look at a major redevelopment, reworking of the entire park, you may want to hold off on the parking lot until that work is done, or part of that work. One of the lots out here that needs resurfacing, maybe a reconstruction, is the lot out here for this facility. But we also know you might be looking at improvements to this building, so it really doesn't make sense to do that lot until you have all the other contractors who've done their job and dumpsters that off the lot. Same thing with tennis courts and the trails. If you're going to be doing the parking lot, it's a good time to look at the actual trail itself while you have the equipment out there. While you're disrupting the users of the park, you might as well get it all done at one time. Costs. So in our report, we gave some estimates based on 2020 costs for the crack sealing, resurfacing, where we've seen seal coating coming in, some of the reconstruction, and then also tennis courts themselves. We were able to get another town that recently went out to bid on a couple of tennis courts and pickleball courts. So we have those in there. One thing we like to budget, and we mentioned in the report, is about a 3 to 5% increase per year is a good number to look at for increase of costs. Prior to this year has been absolutely crazy with costs. One of the seal coat companies even told us he saw 40% increase in his costs this past year from the suppliers. So, it's both a labor shortage and a material shortage. Fortunately, you're not installing water main, but anything with metal, none of the, if you're putting up new fencing, new basketball hoops, new posts for tennis courts, none of the suppliers are quoting anything more than a week away right now. So it's really hard for contractors to bid just because the market is so volatile right now with those items. And then the last thing, and we talked with Allison and Kim on, is that on some of these projects, there are other governmental agencies who do this similar work every year. And it may be a good opportunity to talk with them early on and say, hey, are you guys going out on a seal coating project this year? We have X number of square yards we'd like to include in your contract, and you usually end up getting better prices. It might be the township, might be the county, the local municipalities might have something going on at the same time. And along those same lines, if Batavia is going in themselves and redoing a street, might be a good opportunity to say, hey, now's when we need to do that parking lot. Get the same contractor in while he's got all his equipment right on the site there. So That's the quick, 5-minute presentation of a year's worth of work and all the field that we've been out there doing it. We appreciate the opportunity to work with staff, and, visit all your facilities and bring this forward.
So is there a written report?
Yes. Yep, we just received
Right.
it, so we just uploaded it to this board packet. So if you downloaded the board packet earlier, you missed it.
Okay, very good, thanks for.
So we just did, yeah, we just.
Oh.
That's your favorite
So
part
it's in the
on
packet?
there? Yeah.
We just.
Where the brown bread was, that we just like hamburger.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll read down.
The brown lot, yeah.
So this rejuvenation project, I don't know if you know anything about it. How late can you put that, you say a couple years out, I mean, what happens if you put it on something 8, 10 years old? Does it do anything?
8 and 10, the rejuvenator probably wouldn't work at that point.
Where you have to get it right afterwards? So,
We're seeing right now, in most communities, it used to be within the first year, and now they're saying first year to 5 years is a good time frame.
so then what does it do? I mean, if you put it on, if it's a year old,
Mhm.
it doesn't need rejuvenating. I'm trying to understand.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm
Right.
asking. Does it, instead of being like a 10-year asphalt, does it take it out to like a 15? So what does it actually do?
So what happens is, when you mix the asphalt, your asphalt's a mixture of stone and aggregate and asphalt material. Just the heating of it to 400, 500, 600 degrees breaks down some of those properties. When this material comes back on, it's a real thin coat, almost to the point you don't have to restripe because it'll just wear right off the striping. So it just kind of rejuvenates the asphalt and seals it up real nicely in the first year.
So is it more like a sealer?
It is, but it's very thin, but it actually does
So it's not-
almost a
It's not a
chemical.
re-emulsification like a seal coat. It's
Right.
actually a sealer effectively.
So it
Correct.
extends the life then?
It does. We have in the brochure, which I don't have with me tonight, in the last town I worked at, we had a road that we had shared with the local township. Down the middle of the road, the city went ahead, used this rejuvenator. Township said, we're not gonna pay for it. You can clearly see 10 years later which side had the rejuvenator and which one. So it does help it. Again, I was very skeptical when I first came out, but it's now gaining a lot more traction in the
Does it
area.
change the wear surface, or is there any friction or slick? What does it do to the surface itself?
It really doesn't change the friction of itself. On a roadway, they do recommend they put down sand just till it dries within an hour or two.
Yep.
Parking lot, if you kept the parking lot closed, it won't cause it to be slippier or more sticky. It just kind of.
The sand doesn't absorb it once you put it down, right?
Yeah, it's a microscopic coat on it. It's very
Okay.
thin.
So is it put down with laborers, or is there a machine?
Trucks with a spray bar behind
Spray
it.
bar.
Um, Cool, thank you.
Great. Any other questions from the board?
We've really enjoyed working with you.
Thank you, Yosa. And, we'll be available as you get into budgeting, if you have questions on
Okay.
what we put together, and,
Yeah.
where we're looking at things to move all on. And just real quick, so what we've kind of directed staff is, early on, start looking at, like, this year, when you get to budget, start already looking and planning for next year's projects, because you really want to get out to bid either November, December, or January, February, to get the best prices before contractors are all tied up. So you kind of get ahead of the game one year, and then you just follow that same procedure all the way down, whether it's your tennis courts or paths or the parking lots themselves.
We have that paving and lighting fund.
It ain't 8 million now.
No, it ain't.
No, I just a number. That'd be total.
She just wants to check.
Awesome, well, thanks, Howard.
Thank you.
Great,
Howard.
thank you.
Thank
My
you.
pleasure, thank you.
All right. The next item on the agenda is correspondence, and we have one piece of correspondence. A proclamation presented to a longtime Batavia Citizen Club member, Curtistine Matthews, honoring her 100th birthday. God bless her.
And Debbie and Lindsay did a fantastic job of drafting this proclamation. So we're ready for another, anyone else that's ready to turn 100?
You know what? Call for it? Not call for it. No, I didn't.
My wife's biological grandmother is turning 103 this year.
Wow.
We have a proclamation.
Yeah, right.
Just a few.
I'm pretty much screwed, but that's it.
That's amazing.
All right, next item on the agenda is announcements. Debbie, have you been waiting with bated breath?
Thank you. Hello, Batavia. Kick off the new year with us. Get moving, stay active, and have some healthy, wintry fun. Check out our winter fun guide on bataviaparks.org to register for some exciting programs or events. You'll find something for everyone from local trips to adult and youth variety offerings and new fitness and athletic programs. Also continue to check our website for ice skating on Depot Pond. Conditions are monitored daily, and when ice is safe for skating, we will fly a green flag at the Riverwalk. And also we'll place an alert on our website. Skating is prohibited when you see a red flag. Registration is open for our popular Sweetheart event, Ties and Tiaras, to be held at Rotolo Middle School on February 3rd. Formerly called Daddy-Daughter Date Night, this evening of music, dancing, food, and photo booth fun is for children ages 3 and up, accompanied by an adult. That means boys, girls, moms, dads, step-parents, and grandparents. You may reserve dinner before the dance, too. So for all details and to register, visit bataviaparks.org. Have a fun-filled month.
I like that, you almost had a jingle at that end.
Josh, are we anywhere close on the ice rink?
On the ice rink?
One pond, like it's
Oh.
not even,
No one may talk about it.
the water's not even
No.
cold.
No, it's not cold enough.
No,
No.
unfortunately.
We just got too greedy last year.
We did, we did.
Lucky.
Not lucky.
Thank you, Debbie. Next item on the agenda is staff reports.
Yes, so we're gonna kick it off with our Director of Finance. For those of you watching at home on BATV, Brent Strumpf.
Thank you. That was quite the introduction.
Don't you deserve that?
He's like, I don't know what to do.
Well, I strumped.
I think that's gonna top any of theirs. I think so. I don't know if you're gonna be able to top. So we received the funds from our 2023 bond issuance in the amount of $758,080. These funds help fund our capital development program. And then we've also started preparing for the 2022 financial statement audit. Preliminary field work is going to begin on February 6th. And then final field work is
I was like,
Yeah,
can we
right.
just do
Yeah,
this?
we did. It was only a couple months ago, it seems like, so. It's coming
Seemed
around.
like yesterday,
Hopefully this year will be a more normal schedule.
Groundhog's Day.
And then W-2 and 1099 reporting is in process, and that'll be finalized before the deadline of January 31st. And then we also completed the full replacement of our IT server infrastructure.
Congratulations.
Yay.
All in a day's work.
Yep. And IPD, or IAPD and IPRA conference is beginning next Thursday through Saturday or Sunday. Saturday.
So Brent is still rounding out his first day.
Technically, I started to hear about the audit and then got distracted.
He's got all the financial acronyms down.
State conference is coming up. Thank you.
All right, without further ado, Director of Facilities and Trades, Josh Wyans.
No,
We're seeing some things, Jeff. We're seeing some things.
So as part of the asphalt assessment, he had mentioned that there was a tennis court that had been turned into a basketball court. So that is what he's out at West Main. There's the basketball courts that are just east of the parking lot there.
Oh, actually, I have a visual aid.
Yes. So these, I think talking with Allison, 2003 is when we installed these as a multi-use court.
Here you go.
So hence the fence around it with the basketball hoops. So
It has a very, very low usage.
it's very low.
Is that what you said?
I don't
Because
think
there's a fence in.
4 years, I
Course.
think I've actually seen anybody there.
There's a straggling basketball
Sure.
player.
Really?
You see
Yeah,
adult men out there. I see
Yeah.
every
I
once
mean,
in a
quite
while.
frankly,
Shooting.
the most use we've gotten out of it was during the egg hunt, whenever we
Yeah.
had the egg hunt, but now it's at Prairie Path Park. But we used to use this for all the folks in wheelchairs, so people could climb
What are our
on
plans
the
for
rollers.
what are our plans? Well, that's what, so, we would like to consider turning these into full-time pickleball.
This, so, I was reading that this could make several of them, right?
Several, yes.
6?
I would say at least, yeah, about 6, roughly.
So you take the fencing down, or you have to leave it up, or what?
We would leave, the fencing does need repair, so we would, I believe we would tear down and reinstall, the fencing too. I'm meeting with Upland Design next Tuesday, to kind of start the process on this, just to see, cost, what their opinion is on it, if it's a complete tear out, which I believe it will be.
And what's really nice about the 6 courts that we can get here is that that's a pickleball
Yeah,
tournament.
yeah.
Yes.
And this is the only location out of all our existing tennis courts where we could actually have tournaments.
Yeah, it doesn't take anything away from
And
tennis.
people
No.
drive for pickleball.
And there's
Yeah.
parking in
Yeah.
this location.
Yeah.
We
And you don't have to play
You don't have to worry about the noise
Yeah.
in the neighborhood and, back and forth, so.
That was good.
Yeah. Maybe not that
I missed
fast.
it, what did you say?
I've already said, there's no way it's not that.
So, and we would still keep South Mill Creek as a combo, so that would also be pickleball, but
Yeah.
with tennis as well,
So
so.
I think it's a good idea. Well, why wouldn't you just hire,
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
ERA to do it?
I'd already been working with Upland on the South Mill Creek, design on
Resurfacing.
that and the bidding portion of that, so I was just gonna work them into this as well.
Okay.
So in this report from ERA, I'm just glancing through it, there's 3 things that are in red, right? The parking lots. Is this gonna adjust anything that we've already, I mean, are you looking at this to adjust anything that we had already talked about? Or
No.
are all of these things you already knew about and?
We already-
we're like, okay,
Yeah.
so we don't, there's nothing, I mean, because the rest of them were all, they're all good or excellent. or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I was just wondering if there's anything we need to really
No,
look here.
red is just when we get to the point where we can fit something else into our CDP,
Okay,
then we'll look at placing those red ones there first.
okay.
And really, I think the biggest eye opener for us is that for years, former staff weren't seal coating or they were patching, but they weren't seal coating the
Right.
entire
Mhm.
parking lots.
Mhm.
And we see that with the Eastside Community Center, and we want to make sure that we keep that.
Mhm.
And
Well, you have to restrict it too, right?
Yeah, which we're doing the East Side Center, this year. But yeah, no, this was part of that assessment too, was getting us back in the groove, well, getting into the groove period
yeah,
of coming back and
No, it makes
understanding when we need to do, a resurface.
Yeah, replacing the preventative.
Yeah.
So once you replace, you have to do the preventative.
Mhm.
It always just makes me sad, looking at that photograph, when I sat in this chair for the first time after I'm there.
oh, do you want a piece of the asphalt?
You may keep it.
And when is the proposed, hopefully?
Well, we're still working out everything, this is very new.
Yes, Josh and I had this
Literally
brainstorm.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Because that would be the good,
Um,
when I was talking about, we need something besides the long-term
Mhm.
work to show, and more visible for the public, that here's some, we have all these things that are coming that are gonna take 3 years, but what happened this year? So
This can be instant gratification this year.
that's what I,
Well, it serves not only as a demonstration, but it's also a high demand,
yeah.
so you're satisfying 2 things at the same time, so.
And ironically, the Parks Foundation is planning a pickleball tournament at the end of summer.
Oh.
So if we
Oh,
can
so that
time it
is-
right, so Josh is getting the bid specs
Yeah,
ready
you better
with
get
Upland.
moving.
Yeah,
with
right,
Upland
right.
Design.
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna get the medal based on what he just said.
Yeah.
You need to find
Actually,
something.
fencing's pretty readily available right now.
Is it? All right, just expensive.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one of the things that we've been doing is keeping the verticals, and then just replacing the mesh.
Oh,
And then
gotcha.
taking any of the individual ones that are
Yeah.
broken, pop those up, put a new one in.
Gotcha.
You're gonna take those hoops out?
Make it sound so
Because
easy.
the mesh is more easily obtained than the tubing.
And tubing. where I'm standing right behind me, yeah, we have several that have been
Because
used.
it's
Yep.
So we definitely have to replace a few, but yeah, you're right, I don't think.
I mean,
we
it's
have
an,
to-
I'm not telling you what, I'm just saying, consider it from a timing perspective, because you could always go back and fix it.
how much destruction is gonna happen if you take the roofs out there?
Well, you sit on the other side.
I know, but it's gotta be a big hole there.
Well, we
I don't know if
appreciate,
it's that much
we
on there.
appreciate your flexibility, and, you know, we initially were thinking South Mill Creek, but then when we were talking yesterday, we were thinking, gosh, like, West Main, you know, we have the parking there.
Mhm.
Well, we don't
Right.
have the parking at South Mill.
Yeah, they'd have to park on the street.
No, I think it's brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
Excellent.
Mhm. Good point.
good idea.
Excellent. Just gonna end on a high note, that's it.
That's it.
Yep.
See in the picture?
Should have had a better introduction.
Josh, next time I'll give you a dud.
Yeah, right.
All right. And now introducing our Director of Parks, Kim Hansen.
So, 2023, for some reason, is the year of the butterflies. I have had 2 groups reach out to me wanting to do butterfly gardens. And then yesterday or today, we had an Eagle Scout reach out and want to do butterfly houses. So lots of butterfly things going on in 2023, which is pretty cool. And
This is
then,
symbolic.
yeah, then the ice rink is not good.
It's nothing, what do you mean?
It's nothing. Not good. We opened it one day
Yeah,
in
one day,
between
then.
Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we knew it was gonna be about the only time in the near future that we were gonna be able to get to it. So we were able to open it that one time, but unfortunately with the weather being unpredictable, we're not gonna come close to last year's record of 30, unfortunately. And historically, mid-February is when, the last time we really have much of a chance to freeze. So we don't have a whole lot of time left.
In January, you're not gonna get.
Unfortunately, so it doesn't look good. And I just wanted to remind the public that the city hall has public restrooms that are open, and when we do have the ice rink open, we do open up our bond center, public restrooms, unless there's a rental. So if there's a rental, then we do keep the restrooms closed to the public, so we want to make sure everybody knows that there are public restrooms that are open 24 hours at the city hall.
Thank you.
At some point, I would like to encourage the park board to consider maybe not labeling the Pegmont Center as a warming house, because our rentals have really upticked.
Yeah.
We're getting a significant number in the wintertime, and there have been a lot of people that aren't too happy it's a warming house while it's a rental, and so they've asked us to lock the doors so the public can't come in during that time. So we have been working with the city, and they're perfectly fine with us putting a sign and reminding people that please go to City Hall.
I don't think you can force it.
No.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cool. Thank you.
all right, thank you. And
She's trying hard.
I'm running out of introductions. And introducing Director of Community Recreation, Brittany
There
Meyer.
better not be a tambourine here next time.
Cowbell.
No, man.
Yeah, I would love
I'm all
that.
for it.
As Debbie mentioned in her announcements, our Reimagine Ties and Tiaras event is coming up on February 3rd. We have over 300 people signed up, so we're excited. So a few tickets left, so if you want to sign up, we'd love you.
This is formerly known as Danny Daughter Day.
Yes, yes. So we're excited. It'll be a fun night of dancing and fun. On the theme of pickleball. So we're offering pickleball now 5 days a week. We added a second evening. And this next month in February, we're going to be offering 2, maybe more pop-ups for youth pickleball. So we're going to get out information for that. So that's brand new. It's hot off the press today. So we'll keep you updated with dates and times. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Start them while they're young.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Introducing our Director of Marketing and Public Relations, Debbie Gentry.
I think we can
Thank
tambourine.
Okay, if you're attending the state conference later this month, stop by to see the entries and agency showcase. We hope to return with some category wins. It's a very exciting time of year. And in the Batavian, the March and April issue, we will be submitting information on spring events, including Easter and Maple Fest. and also previewing amenities and services envisioned for the 150 Houston Street building and the Civic Center. So things, on the horizon. So that's exciting too.
And I'm excited for this text messaging thing. I think that's gonna be really cool. The text messaging marketing thing. I think that's gonna be really.
And I recommend when we introduce it, I'd love for the park board to subscribe to it, so you can
Yeah.
experience it from
Yeah,
the consumer's
absolutely.
side.
I just think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be very popular.
Awesome, and Voyager next will be at the IPRA conference, so he'll be telling people more about the services.
Great. Thank you very much.
I just wanted to bring, I think it's a good idea on your, one of your bullet points, third one or so, about the concussion seminar you're gonna give.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's really good. And so you said a seminar, so is that for every sport or just one seminar to cover sports?
Yeah, for this first one, it's a general seminar, kind of going over a little bit of everything, but kind of breaking off from there once we kind of.
So who's gonna be targeted for that? Will you have an announcement to, like, the all-star sports people, or how's that gonna go?
Yeah, I can chat with Dr. B, and I can kind of
So
get.
he's helping to, or he's gonna direct how it goes?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even way back when I was coaching, you could not coach youth sports without having to take one of those, so
Yeah.
that's a great target audience, is anybody who's just thinking
For sure.
about going into it, to say, I don't care the sport. I mean, we were doing basketball, and yes, it's contact, but concussions still happen in any of these sports, and so if they're thinking about it, like, talking about it, say, hey, man.
I think what's very timely, my hockey goalie son took 2 pucks to the head this weekend. So,
Is he okay?
he's okay. He's a little upset they pulled him after he got hit the second time.
That's good hockey.
Because they care about your
Typical
future.
goalie. Typical goalie.
But it was not the best because there's no backup goalie, so that was the end of that game.
Yeah.
I was like, no, what do we do? Oh, we lose. But I like the idea a lot.
Softball's coming up, so we'll definitely recommend it to some of our volunteer coaches and just some other organizations that we feel like would enjoy it. And get some
Yeah, and also maybe expand
Mhm.
to specific coaches for sports, maybe indicate what are the typical injuries for that sport. So
Sure.
the coaches or parents know, okay, my kid's playing basketball, they're gonna have a twisted ankle, so this is what I do for an ankle injury.
Yeah.
Or for baseball or softball, arm injuries, this is what you do. Going over, just give parents an idea of what to expect. Oh my God, my kid's, hurt and I look like it.
Totally, that's a
Yeah,
great
so-
idea. Yeah.
But that's a good idea with the concussion, or the concussion seminar.
Yeah.
And Kevin, I liked, you also had another suggestion in an email you sent to me about nutrition.
Oh, yeah, even, it's always good to throw that stuff out, because, with baseball, in between games, everybody goes to the ice cream thing, and there's nothing good for the second game, they just,
Yeah.
you're not getting your kids
That's
out
like
there.
a
They get a big hamburger and ice cream, and then they go, 100 degrees, and they
Yeah.
let's play again, and everybody's like falling
Everybody's
asleep.
lethargic.
We got that publicity. I do want to make mention, Brittany's pretty humble, but she is actually a co-presenter for a half day at the state conference.
Oh.
It is Thursday.
Ah, that's all.
Actually, everybody had to sign up ahead of time. What was the name of it?
Evaluating surveys from different angles.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, good.
It's on Thursday in the afternoon. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Congrats.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. You're up.
Hey, better.
Anybody want to?
That's intimidating. Especially when technology's at play.
Hope it works.
I was gonna say it worked before, so let's give a drum roll for the technology. All right, here. So I figured for those of you at home and for the park board and staff, we're gonna give a fresh look at the 2023 goals that we have planned for this year. There are some things we're wrapping up, so I'm gonna start with the things that we're trying to tie up, get some closure on 2022. And kicking that off is the community needs assessment. The first 2 weeks that the needs assessment was mailed out to residents, Pros Consulting received 425 surveys back. So we're over the 10% return rate, which is exceptional. I mean, really between 10 to 15 is ideal.
Yeah, this community generally does a pretty good job in providing.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, yeah, that's great.
And we even did a second round. They did a second round for us for free. And so we're going to get even more results back. So we're really looking forward to it. In fact, Leon Younger will be at the March Park Board meeting with a full report, and he'll give a presentation. So I hope to have the presentation in advance to share it with you, so that way if you have questions, you can ask them ahead of time.
That'd be great.
So then we'll be able to wrap that puppy up. And trying to wrap this up, but Mother Nature needs to be on our side in order to finish this. Jones Meadow Park, as Kim had mentioned before, we've got the base all set and ready to go. It's just a matter of waiting for the asphalt companies to open up, and then we can seal this project up.
She's not on a roll today.
I'm gonna roll right out of here. And as a part of the facility feasibility study, say that 10 times, we learned that we needed electrical upgrades in our shop. The maintenance facility, the locker maintenance facility, was purchased by the Park District in 1992, and it was formerly a recycling center. And so we inherited everything from the recycling center. So we are going to be updating our electrical, everything electrical this year, and thanks to Park
What needs to
Board.
be updated?
We're updating the electrical panels and basically tracing and identifying just to make sure it's all clean. It's been piled in there pretty tight rack capacity, basically, so.
Yep, and so then we will be able to surplus some items and then sell it later in the virtual auction this summer. Oh wait, is my time up?
That's a wrap.
Here we go.
That's what to do. Is there a trap door?
Tara's got places to be.
Oh, hurry up, promise. And yes, this will be year 3 of the Batavia Fox River Corridor Master Plan. Hitchcock Design Group, I have a meeting with them at the end of this week to wrap up the ad hoc study so that they are ready to present at the February board meeting. If they're not going to be in person, they said they'll at least submit the report. So we'll get a report, and then City Council has said that they would love to meet with the Park Board once that report is complete.
Okay, great.
And this is the year, so we are in the second year. The Distinguished Accreditation process is a 2-year process. So last year we applied. This is to keep us up to snuff on best practices, keep our policies current, really make sure that we're following the gold standard for park districts. So this is a joint accreditation with IEP and IPRA. And then 2024, we'll be able to be recognized at the state conference, and all of us will be able to get up on stage and get a picture taken and be recognized to be an accredited agency. And then the Parks Foundation is, they finished their fundraising, they hit their $50,000 mark. And Pat Callahan, thank you very much, President Callahan, for serving on this committee and helping us get to an even better point than we are here. And Josh Wyatt, he's our staff rep. So
Josh did all the heavy lifting. I was just.
well, we need you too. We're not going to discount your efforts here. So September 21st, we're just working backwards. September 21st is our dedication date, so we're hoping to get everything up and installed by that point, and then we're just working it backwards in terms of the engineering, the lighting, getting everything ordered that we need. This is the year for peace.
And
And what?
And butterflies.
And butterflies. Peace and butterflies. I think you're onto something. You have a tagline for this year. Kumbaya. Clark Island, we will find out when Governor Pritzker announces the release of the OSLAD grant money. So every month, we're going to be eagerly anticipating the announcements, hopefully before our legislative conference in Springfield, which is usually in April. So just for those of you watching at home, you'll see a reimagined skate park, concrete, not with the current equipment that you see right now. And then a fitness sport court, which has a rubber safety surfacing and benches so people can enjoy watching other people work out or take a break. But many different equipment apparatuses. Also a pump track, asphalt trail, and fishing outcropping stations. So we're really looking forward to making this a reality. So $600,000 is what the Park District budgeted, and we're looking for the grant for $600,000 to come to fruition for us. If by chance we aren't awarded the money or something falls flat with OSLAD, we're still able to do all of the projects except for the fitness court and the outcropping station. So we're still gonna be able to move forward. And skate park and bike park, they're at their 15-year plus replacement schedule. So this is the year that we can get it done. Or we can start it this year. It's a 2-year process as well because of equipment. But this is the year. Next month, Josh will be coming to you looking to demo 209 South River, so we can add this add the landscape to the Philip B. Ofster Memorial Greenway and create even more open space alongside River Street. Yes, the locker maintenance facility improvements. We're going to be completely doing an overhaul on the parking lot at the Eastside, at the locker maintenance facility. So no more ground beef. We're going to make a burger. Like a salad. No, we're going to make a steak.
Yeah.
Steak on it. And then the electrical upgrades that we talked about earlier. Tennis court resurfacing. We heard the report tonight. And super excited for what the board just, we were going to pitch it here or pitch it during staff reports. So thank you to the park board for your blessing, your consensus on moving forward with pickleball. So we'll remove the basketball and then make it a full-fledged pickleball tournament court. Super exciting. Word's going to spread quickly. And fiber at the Hall Quarry Beach. This will help internal and external customers. So internally, it will help us from the concession standpoint process sales more quickly, which obviously the end user, the external customers are going to benefit from that greatly, especially admissions. External customers are going to just absolutely love that. So between the internal external customers, we're going to get this done before the beach opens. That's our goal. And I will be putting an IGA before the park board from the city in order to get moving on this project. So right now, it's in Drendel and Jansen's court right now, so as soon as it's out of their court, then we'll get this moving. 150 Houston, this is the last year of planning for 150 Houston because we're in construction document mode right now. And what that means is that we're working with all the professionals and really tightening up all the specifications for everything. Today we just had a 2.5-hour phone call about hardware. So Brittany and Josh's eyes aren't glossed over yet, but so yeah, this is the world that Pat lives in, so he understands it very well. So we're really excited. So then, and then next year will be our phase 1 construction, and at the end of this year, we're actually looking to do abatement at 150 Houston. So that way, BATV will find a home for them here at the Civic Center during that time. We've already spoken to them, and they're ready to make that move for about 6 months. So it'll be 3 months for the abatement, and then probably 3 months at the beginning of the year for construction that they'll need to be here. Also, this is the year for design and engineering of this room and quite a few other rooms here at the Civic Center. So next month, Tom Polos and Sean Leiter of Williams Architects will be here, and they will give you the final concept plans for the Civic Center. And so they're going to be looking for your blessing to move forward with those plans. They did make some changes. They used to have the restrooms down here at the south end. Whoops, where am I at? Yep, at the south end, yeah, and then they moved the office here and moved the restrooms similar to where they're at right now. They moved over some spaces, so it's really difficult to see in this picture. But they would love to go over it in more detail next month with you. So again, design and engineering for Civic Center, and then construction docs for 150. So they'll be here sharing it all. They're also going to be here to talk about the maintenance facility feasibility study.
It would be nice to get those documents ahead of time. If they're going to be at the next meeting, to get them in our packet.
Mm-hmm. Also, Lynn Borman, our Director of Talent and Culture, is super stoked with Brent Strump to bring HR information systems software to the Park District. We currently are using a dilapidated version of ADP from 2014. They will not upgrade us because we aren't going with their financial systems because we have Tyler Encode, and because we aren't going to upgrade with ADP, they refused to update us. And Frontline, which is what we currently use for employment, for anything job postings, for hiring. Frontline is typically used by school districts, and it's a little cumbersome for us. So the HRIS software system, there's going to be a recommendation at next month's board meeting for this. So we're looking forward to bringing that to you. So that'll help us consolidate the online postings, the job postings, performance reviews, anything talent related, actually everything up here, will be all encompassing, and then we'll be able to move payroll also into the system.
Is this a European company?
Which company?
Oh, this is
HRIS is the acronym for.
Human Resource Information Systems.
Right, but is the company that represents it a European-based company?
There are multiple softwares.
No, I'm talking about the company itself that makes the software. Are they European?
Oh, the Paycom part?
That we're looking at? I don't believe so. So we're looking at a few right now.
Why do you ask?
Were they spelled in?
Oh, this is just a graphic.
Could be Canadian.
Or Allison.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I ask is because we just implemented this in my office, and of the 6 companies we were looking at, 4 of them were from England.
Really?
For some reason, which is strange if you think about doing taxes,
Yeah.
a firm that has the software based in England. But anyway.
That's
I was
interesting.
curious.
That's fascinating. Now we need to look into that. Also, we are going to be applying for the Top Workplace program this year. But how it all starts is with employee engagement surveys. So we have engaged with Energage. Energage is the name of the company that conducts the employee engagement surveys. And so, so we're super stoked to get this back up off the ground. The Park Board has approved some policies in the last year that have really helped staff morale and have really changed a lot of mindsets with this pandemic. But the teleworking policy has helped people. The flex comp time has helped people. The voting holidays. So I want to thank you very much for that, because I think you're going to see the fruits of your labor here as a result. And of course, you'll get to see the results. Oh, and I just threw in there that we were 2016, 2017, and 2018 we were Top Workplace. So we need to get that back.
You just sprinkle that in there.
Yes. Yep.
No,
That little sugar.
yeah.
Put cherry on top. Also, at the end of the summer, we're looking to take all of our surplus property. We have surplus property in every single facility. We're bursting at the seams downstairs in the basement from what used to be our child care center there. We've got the basement of the ERO. Kemp Hall has a bunch of Halloween leftovers. So we'll be continuing to take more surplus property before the Park Board for approval, so that that we can take this to auction at Obenhoff auction this summer. Was there a question?
No, I was just, I'm surprised there's only storage space at Kemp Hall.
Oh yeah, the basement at Kemp Hall.
Oh, basement.
And the basement of Shannon Hall too.
Yeah.
A lot of people think it's haunted.
Ah,
You gonna sell that? part?
program in there somewhere.
Yeah, there you go.
I won't be there with
You have to pressure washer people out and they come out of
Oh, you
there.
just have to have a good storyteller.
Look at Kate, yeah.
And then last but certainly not least, almost every department is going to be a part of this, and that's going to be a customer loyalty rewards program. We've got big support from John Tillman here, but we are eagerly anticipating some wonderful things to come out of this. Sponsors can donate prizes. We have a lot of things in-house that we can certainly do a lot of cost containment. Everybody loves a free day at the quarry. So there are a lot of things that we can do to kind of ease the pain for people and certainly reward our highest, most loyal customers, our highest participating, most loyal customers.
That's awesome.
So that, my friends, is a wrap.
Excellent. Great reports. Thank you. So, next item on the agenda is new business, 15A. Approval of the budget. So I entertain a motion to approve ordinance number 408, fiscal year 2022 budget and appropriations as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Tillman, second by Gray. Any further discussion?
Tillman?
Is that a question? Aye.
Gray?
Aye.
Riley?
Aye.
Connolly? Aye. Callahan?
Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is 15B, approval of expenses for Board of Commissioners in accordance with the Local Government Travel Expense Control Act. So I entertain a motion to approve Board of Commissioners expenses in accordance with the Local Government Travel Expense Control Act, Public Act 099-0604, as presented.
So moved.
I probably can't second it.
Yes, you can. You can still second it.
Motion by Tillman, second by Gray. Please call the roll.
Tillman?
Aye.
Gray? Riley?
Aye.
Connolly? Callahan?
Aye, motion carries. So, just before we get, so next item is executive session, which we do not need tonight, but I did forward to the board a blank copy of Madison's executive director performance to be filled out. If I can get it back by February 9th, we can put executive session for personnel for your review at our February meeting. Thank you.
Very good.
Any other business?
There's none.
You have a question?
I have a question. Which may be covered in December, but the Board of Education is going, do we have any messaging on that, or are we still just waiting in terms of, because they're going to vote again? And some people are asking me, oh, are they gonna do the plan that they've been talking about?
As far as I know, it's the same plan that they put out before.
Same dollar amount, exact same question.
Nothing's changed.
It seems odd just to go out again and say, I understand it was close, but it's like, I understand it, but it's
I
like,
thought it was
okay,
gonna
we
be-
didn't win, let's keep on trying till we win. But it's,
So board, our position is the same.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Excellent. Motion to adjourn.
Move.
Motion by Tillman, second by Gray.
Aye.
Please call the roll.
Where's Kevin, present?
Tillman?
Aye.
Gray? Aye. Riley?
Yeah.
Connolly? Aye.
Oh,
Callahan?
you're going
We
fast.
are adjourned
Loss of
at
focus is
8:08.
staggering.
Oh, 08.
We're done.
All right.
Thank you.